So when you are a writer, you have to develop a thick skin about your writing if you're sending stuff out. And I just mentioned that at dinner, how the business of poetry is so much different than the writing of poetry. The writing is where you get the discovery and the fun. And the sending stuff out and getting rejections, all writers are getting rejections. So I look at it as a numbers game. You just have to keep doing this. Wear it down. and sometimes that helps. So anyway, if you have questions about writing and poetry business, let me know. Okay. The next one is a winter poem. It's called Late Winter Survival. First, attempt to describe the blackbirds, the plentiful anonymous mass in the top of the cottonwood. Begin with black, copious, and red-winged, knowing that anything specific will point only to more uncertainty. They will perch there, noisy and prim, defying also narration. Your mouth will be slack, your neck craned. In the populace, meaning prevalent, meaning of little ornamental value, the tree that grew like a weed. Forget the Canadian breeze, the chill that knuckles your resolve, the snow deeper than a recent memory. It will bring to mind those monster drifts of old days, how you and your brother climbed into the heights of the shelter belt, slid later into muck, the farmstead and roads and countryside a sea of endless mud, until summer, when the wind exhaled, the soil cracked, and you ached for rain. Oh, my child, how you dreamed. And now this cackling confusion of starlings overhead, the sun at a sharper angle, rousing the urge. Not the songbirds you smile at, but a migrating pack that grows darker with each passing day. Right now, the earth is tilted just so, and the sunlight is brilliant, and everything, every last thing seems possible. We will survive winter, believe it or not. 10 years ago. I like it when I learn a new word. Are any of you kind of nutty about words? Yeah, I am too. I mean, that's partly why I'm a writer, because I really like words so much. But palimpsest refers to layers, of course. And by the way, there's 2 P's in palimpsest. That's cool too. But it's also the first writing instruments were animal skins. They didn't have paper a long time ago. So they used animal skins and wrote on them with ink. And of course you wouldn't just wad up an animal skin and throw it away like we do with paper. They scraped it off. And so you could still see what was written before it. And I thought that was such a great metaphor for the land and farming and all that kind of stuff. So I wrote this poem called Palimpsest. I live in skin, handed down from a long line of Danish farmers, from women and men of the soil, all imperfect, the genetics of the double recessive, all vulnerable and hard at work. Scrape away the layers, and there's no writing anywhere to be found, only dust and feeder calves and slough grass, the callus of contour, fertility, and row crop. Deep down, beneath this veneer of city dwelling, there's a well above an aquifer, hand dug, lined with layers mortared in place as the water rose up, brick by father. His face with the grin I've inherited, repeating that yarn. Blotches over his leathered arms and face, his eyes shallow pools of blue. My father wrote his story all over that farm, not an acre untouched, loam plowed, trees planted, hogs slaughtered. Fence posts, corn, wheat, oats, outbuildings that rose board by board into sky. A young girl breathing hay bale and clover blossom and topsoil, gritty as our old dog Brown. And a grandmother who longed for the homeland, the home place that won't quite collapse. My child's child nearing sleep, wanting me to retell the youth of her father, the time of her birth, her small hand squeezing beside my father in our living room recliner, the recliner he later whiled away the days in. By now, I'd grown into his frame, wiry, aging toward the epidermis that was visible from his casket, the parchment I was afraid to touch. And yet, grandmother, father, me, son, granddaughter, stories I'm writing in blood, passing down, layer into layer, better than skin deep.